Hey guys, I'm here with Mike the Truth Jackson. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
It's still COVID, so I don't know how you are in. I think it's Houston, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're still locked down till I think the 9th, so it's not so good, but hopefully it gets better.
Yeah, a little bit more cavalier out here. So I'm just doing my thing, just doing my own part, staying safe. But the crazy thing when all this hit, like for me, my life didn't really change much as far as like my interaction with people. Like I'm a real homebody. And so when I go out, it's to, I go out to shows and stuff like that. But even at those, like I'm always in my own little space.
Yeah,
Uh, I'm real big. Like I'm basically a germaphobe, really. So like I'm real like I don't really shake people's hands. Like even when I do find myself like
yeah.
kind of like I'll think about it as I'm going to shake their hand. I'm like, shit, you forgot.
You gotta
And
use the
like,
elbow.
yeah, but then I shake it. Then like I go like wash my hands or I keep sanitizer with me. So for me, it hasn't been a big shift. Only
Yeah,
thing really is just the lack of things I'm able to do has really been it. But as far as like the spacing and all that, that's how I've been me for a long time.
for sure, for sure. Are the gyms still open there right now?
Yeah, it just depends on what kind of like you've had openings and closings. Our gym, I train at Main Street. Well, one of my gyms
Yeah,
is Main Street Boxing. I also train at the Hensel Gracie Houston out here.
yeah.
Um, but when it first hit, we all kind of locked down. And then when we started to open, we didn't really have many issues. We did it in a fairly safe way.
For
And
sure.
we had a few fighters and coaches kind of test positive here and there. We had some false positives. But overall, the way we ran the gym,
Been pretty
we've been,
lucky.
yeah. And then even as of now, like we haven't had one in a long time. We're pretty much training like we're all the guys are in there getting ready for fights. We're all training, getting doing a thing. I would say the only gyms that have really been kind of like more guidelines. They're going to be like your
Hmm.
24-hour fitnesses, the more mainstream kind of gyms
For sure.
going to have that. But other than and I probably like the smaller gyms too. But I think for the fight gyms and people who know what they're doing and make it, we're cleaning up anyway. Like these this is you if you had a dirty gym, like you wouldn't have
Yeah,
anybody there anyway. So we have to be clean.
yeah.
So but it's looking good though.
So with I'm not in the States obviously, so I'll get your point of view on this. Biden is now the president,
Yeah.
and people are saying that he's going to stricken. So you guys could be possibly put into a lockdown and see a lot of things shut down. Is that true? Am I reading that
I
right?
don't know. I haven't heard anything about any kind of crazy lockdowns.
Yeah.
The really it's just and the crazy thing is, man, is that regardless of where you feel on the actual lot, like I understand both sides,
Yeah.
but it would like if people would have just wouldn't have been assholes in the beginning and
It's so
just wore
true.
the mask, like
Yeah.
instead of taking train, like we really wouldn't have been like we maybe would still have numbers or whatever, but overall the numbers wouldn't be this high. But outside of just the actual like stay at home lockdown, it's just like yo, when you out, just cover your face. Like that's all you really doing is just covering your mouth and
Oh,
nose.
for sure.
Like that's literally it. But we
It,
have people who are contrarians, man. They just want to buck
yeah.
the system, and that's why we're still in these situations, man.
All right, I got some questions to get started with you about. I don't know how you feel about talking about the CM Punk fight. It's probably something that a lot of
I,
people.
I'm down to talk about whatever you got, baby.
All right, I just didn't want to overannoy you because I'm assuming a lot of people come up with you to the CM Punk fight.
yeah.
The first
So
question I want.
I'm a professional, dude. Like for me, like I'm on both sides. I'm the interviewer as well as the interviewee, so I know what everything entails, So
Yeah.
I'm always, I'm always ready to go.
So I seen a picture. I'm going to start with you with Teddy Long, which is awesome on your Instagram page.
Yeah,
I watched him back in the day. General manager of WWE was awesome.
yeah.
Were you a WWE fan at all before you fought CM Punk?
Oh, 100%. I grew up. My earliest memories um, are going back to like WWF house shows.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
as a kid, I was there like the early Undertaker days. Like
Yeah.
I was there. Well, I was born in '85, so I've been going to wrestling matches since like 91,
Yeah.
91. So I was always into wrestling. Like that was my thing. I would always got into wrestling, even in like middle school and high school. Like I was a fan. I would gone to the WrestleMania,
Yeah,
17, I believe it was 17 or
that's amazing.
18. I was here in Houston. When The Rock was that. Ooh, that's my guy, one of my favorite
The
wrestlers.
Rock and Stone Cold, I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm still trying to find. I actually have. I found a WrestleMania shirt. I was out somewhere now. It was like a vintage joint, and it was
Yeah,
like it was a WrestleMania, but it was the follow what the Undertaker and whoever. It was like an Undertaker match, but it was a WrestleMania shirt I had. But I want to get because I'm a vintage shop. Like, I love vintage tees. So if
I
I can,
I love take.
huh?
I love the Undertaker. I actually got his cross tattooed on my arm, so
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. Oh, even like him, I love all the variations of him. But back to that, like, I love antiquing and fine vintage shirts. So if I can find like that WrestleMania 17, like a Houston shirt, man, that'd be dope. That'd be.
I'll hit you up if I see it here somewhere.
Please do,
I,
please.
I've seen a lot of WrestleMania 18 because it was at Toronto, not
Okay.
17 yet. So, but that would be
Wait,
pretty.
so I do the way I'm able to keep track because the WrestleManias fall. Like I want to say what's this year? 30 what?
37. I'm pretty sure
So
it's
okay,
37.
so they're always that's right. So they're always a year ahead because I'm 35, so it's always my birthday
Perfect.
plus one. So I was because I remember I was 16 because I remember what car I drove to the after
Yeah.
the Astrodome in. So yeah, so it was 17 because it's my year plus one.
So did you keep up to date with WWE at all? Like you knew who CM Punk was at the time?
So I got out. He was still in ECW, I think, one
Yes.
right toward the end. And I remember him. I remember the name. I remember the character in ECW. I don't when he got to the WWF. Uh, I was probably just showing up from like a WrestleMania, like when The Rock would show up. Like
Yeah.
that's really the only time I really tune in by that point, or
Yeah.
like Stone Cold or somebody. But
For
by the
sure.
time he got over there, I wasn't really watching as much anymore.
And he never got big even pro well. He was a mid carder for most of his career, and then he hit off at the end of it. So,
Okay.
um,
Yeah, so
was
that's probably why, because when he was doing his thing, he was just a mid carder. So I
became,
wasn't paying that much attention to those guys at the time.
and then he became the face. That's why I was seeing if were you a little bit starstruck though at the time fighting him, or did you have any issues with that?
Like I see, but that's not me. Like that's not my character. Like the starstruck type.
Yeah.
For I've grown up in in, in a kind of in a world where I have access to celebrities, politicians,
For sure.
entertainers. So it was not like for me. It was not. And again, when I met him, I already wanted to punch him in the mouth because the first time I met him was after the Gall fight. He was backstage.
Yeah.
Uh, but like I said, well, no, he hadn't made the comment. I don't think. But because the reason it wasn't that I had any animosity against the kid, but he went out there and called me like a bum or something. I was like, yo, you never had a fight. Like you
Yeah.
can't, and so that's kind of like where all that came from. But nah, like he was just a guy.
For sure. Did you like when so there was a little bit of controversy on it. Like you could have finished that fight. Like I'm just getting that on the table, right?
100%, 100%.
Okay. And Dana White said that he didn't even want both of you to fight in the UFC again. How did that clear the air? And what was the meaning behind that?
Well, he was just so he was in the moment. He's upset, right?
Yeah.
He's upset because you have a guy in CM Punk that you've invested all this money and energy into, and that you obviously want him to
Oh,
succeed
sure.
because you want to get a return on your money, right? But you have me who comes in, and that I did what I was supposed to do. And I was telling people before the Gall fight, I was like, look, his best bet is to fight Gall because in that way he's just gonna get taken down and submitted, and that's gonna be it. I say if I'm to fight him, I'm gonna make it where he can't come back from it. And so
Yeah.
that was my objective. I came out and when in the interviews when I was telling people I wanted to knock him out, like that was the initial goal. But and you maybe heard this in interviews is like I have kind of like a soft spot
Yeah.
and once I realized it wasn't that he's like a terrible fighter or anything like that. It was like he's not actual fighter, right? And so when I realized that in the moment, I was like, yo, I can't like really just melt this dude. But I still had a job to do in proving that he didn't belong in there, right? So when I go out and do what I did to him, and again, I didn't finish him. I just cannot. For me, it was like it was an exhibition. It was a sparring match, is
Sure.
what it was. If you look at like my Instagram and see some of the highlights I do from sparring, like that's what it felt like to me, right?
Yeah.
So from his position as a promoter in the world's largest organization, he's upset because it's like he didn't, the fans didn't want to see that. They wanted to see a fight, but I
Yeah.
made the fight look the way it looked, right? And
Trolled
I
every
see
aspect of it.
right, and I see why he would say all of what he said to me, right? But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that's just talk. Like we signed a contract, all of these things, and
Yeah.
so and I get it. Like people, they only know me from those two fights. They only know me from the Gall fight. And they only know me from the Punk fight.
Yeah.
So with that, you're kind of limited of what you know about me. But man, again, I say this all the time. I have pro boxing and kickboxing experience. I'm undefeated with all knockouts.
I was about to say you also did a Muay Thai too, right?
I've done, yeah. I lost a decision in the Muay Thai fight.
But you've gone
Against
four different sports.
I lost a decision to this kid Jeremiah Holloway, and this kid like he's fought in Bellator, and he was hella tough. Like,
Yeah.
like it wasn't like he beat me. And that was the thing. Like even in that fight, he didn't beat me up. Like
Yeah.
I went in there with the mind. Like I legit went in there with like, yo, I'm gonna knock this guy out, right? And because I hit hard. And then I went in there and I hit him with some heat, and he didn't go out. I was like, oh shit.
There you go.
But again, even in the fight though, like I didn't get beat. I didn't get beat up. I just lost the decision because the guy he did more. So that's the thing. Like I'm a fighter. I know it may not look like. I know people they get caught up in the photography and the charismatic, whatever the other stuff that I bring to the table. But I still enjoy this, man. Like when I walk into the gym, like I'm ready. I understand what time it is. When I get to travel, and train with other guys who are at the highest level, like I can't go in there and not be, capable of fighting. Or I would just
Sure.
get lost, or people wouldn't want me to come and train with them if that were the case.
Yeah.
But it's not,
Now, activity. You fought twice for the UFC, 2016, I think 2018. You were supposed to fight Dean Barry from Ireland, if that's correct.
Now it's still on. It's
Okay.
It's still on. It's still on.
It was supposed to be on the 20th, I'm pretty sure. Is there a date that's supposed to be coming up for you?
Now they hadn't given us a new date yet. It's going to be here in the States, though. That was kind of the issue. Just some
Okay.
travel things going on. It was kind of last minute. Didn't get resolved in time, and that's really what it was. It was nothing. That was it. Like people were speculating and talking all this. It was that. It was just timing, right? Because it was kind of a last minute kind of deal as far as knowing it was going to be, on Fight Island. But yeah, it's going to be here in Vegas whenever they announce it, and then we gonna book it, and nothing has changed. Same goal, same objective, and same ending.
And you are, so did you want to fight on Fight Island? I heard some decent things from other fighters, how it is. This is kind of like a resort. Did you want to fight there now that there's a crowd?
No.
Or...
I never wanted to go.
There you go.
That doesn't, well, let me rephrase. I would not want to go with the current situation of like a pandemic and everything. If this were a normal situation, then yeah, because for me,
Too germaphobe?
Well, it's a bunch of it, right? Because I travel a lot, when I'm covering fights and stuff like that. And that's how I knew, like, I people are nasty because I travel, I see it, right? But no, for me, just given like my background and where I come from, my upbringing, I've been privileged to have a lot of good things, right? Including traveling to great places. And for me, it's always been about that experience. This wasn't gonna be that. First of all, I hate flying. I hate flights. I don't like flying over 4 or 5 hours. I remember like I flew I went to the DR one time. I forgot like maybe 8 hours. Pissed. It sucked. Even when I go to New York, I'm like, oh, this shit sucks. This is gonna be like a 16-hour flight. And now I talked to my boy. I'm friends with Pat Berry, and so he hit me up. We were just kind of talking, and I kind of explained to him where I was coming from. And he was like, he's like, bruh, the flight is the best part. So I was like, all right, it kind of makes sense.
First class.
I'm gonna go over there. Long flight. I'm at the quarantine. Well, I'm gonna fly to Vegas, quarantine, then take the long flight, quarantine. I'm still in a bubble. I don't get. And for me, I love food. I love my Truth Food Tour. So
you'd be eating.
I wouldn't be able to do all that. So I wouldn't have been able to get the experience. Something ideal for me was to get like 2 weeks before fight week and then 2 weeks after. That would have been ideal, like a month or a month and a week or so out there. But that wasn't going to happen. So I would rather just fly to Vegas, boogie there, come on back home to the H.
So how do you feel about fighting without the crowd? Because there's not going to be a crowd in Vegas. It won't bother you?
Man. It don't matter. My second fight, it was the crazy thing about that. Now, I will say this. I did want to fight on this card kind of because it had a little bit of sentimental value to me.
Yeah.
My second fight, I had an amateur fight, but my second fight, I fought at in Louisiana, which is my family's from Louisiana as well, so it was like in Lafayette, out of my hometown over there too. But it was on a Dustin Poirier undercard, and they were filming like a Fightville movie and stuff, like we were all in that, But this would have been like that, it wouldn't have been on the same card, but same week. So that was kind of like it stuck out to me, but. Outside of that, I was like, nah, dude, fighting here is way better.
For sure.
But so on that card, I fought in front of like 10,000 people.
Yeah.
And I train at the gym, and I get to bust people in there, So I don't care. I'm cool either way.
Either way, you get to punch someone in the mouth. We got a couple more questions for you. First of all, you're close to Louisiana. How was it to see Dustin Poirier pull off that big win against Conor?
Man, first of all, that's my guy. I love Dustin. Yeah. Shout out to Dustin. He got the dope hot sauce out right now. It's delicious. I got the first batch. It was dope. Or is dope. I'm enjoying it.
I'm ordering some actually soon.
It's really good. Yeah, I love spicy foods. But it was a great feeling, for one, because I know the guy. Like, I know him personally. But then I know. Like I've been on it as a fan. I've been along for the ride since the WEC. Actually, before WEC, when we were fighting in the Blackham Coliseum,
for sure.
USA MMA, I've been along it, and I've seen the progression. I've seen him get to the highest of high, and then he kind of falls short a little bit, and then he finally captures it. He gets this big moment. For him, this is a big moment. This is it's obviously a moment that because it's Conor McGregor, so you have all of these eyes watching, and then, but he gets the revenge, gets that get back, in a spectacular way, because he went out the way he went out, but he got the get back with a finish himself. So
he had a great game plan.
Oh, an amazing game plan. Amazing.
Even though I had him losing the whole fight, but then I was like, Poirier's still gonna pull this off. Like I knew Poirier just had it, even though he was losing.
Yeah, but that strategy, like you have to think like that strategy.
Exactly.
I was sparring yesterday at the gym, and I had this kid come in, and I like to go with the amateur boxing class for like cardio. I like to get a bunch of rounds in. Go, I'll do like 45 minutes to an hour straight of boxing.
For sure.
But I had this guy yesterday. He was like, the dude was trying to knock me out, like. I was like, yeah. And for me, like, that doesn't bother me, but they just have to understand, like, you're trying to knock me out. Like, I'm just not, this is boxing or fighting. Like, I'm going to have to give you something back so you understand.
Exactly.
Regardless of where the skill levels are. Like, because I get other people who come in there and they just work, and that's the purpose of it. But when you in here throwing, like, if one of those landed cleanly, I would have been out. And so we were just going, and I kind of was patient with him, and I knew he couldn't keep that pace up, and I just he kind of blocked. He threw some hard shots, and I blocked him. It's still kind of like, damn, I don't get it. And then, we went 2 rounds, and the second part of that second round, he started to slow down, and boom, I just touched him up. But I had to give it to him because, he was trying to knock me out. I couldn't just hit him regularly.
Put him in his place.
You know what I'm saying? So the point of that is that we all have strategies.
For sure.
And even though it seemed as if Dustin was taking, he was blocking a lot of these shots. Yeah. He had a solid defense. And he was kind of biting this time because we've all seen what Conor does. Conor can gas, you know. Yeah. And we were looking for the later rounds, I feel, but those calf kicks, baby. Ugh.
Oh, those are dirty.
It don't matter if you can breathe if you can't walk.
It's insane. I've never seen a leg kick actually affect. It reminded me of the Bas Rutten days.
Right.
So, but I think trilogy will be great. I think that's what's next. I hope. Are you? What is your game? Not your game plan. I'm not going to ask that. But if I could get a prediction for your Dean Barry fight.
Well, yeah. I mean, look. And people know I have a special skill. Boxing is my skill that I have in this, and so people look. Even when I'm in class, I'm like, I don't want to go for takedowns, but all right, I'll go. With wrestling, and for me, even in wrestling, it's a lot of counter wrestling. Everybody knows what I'm coming to do, and if you know his background, he's like this. They say kickboxing in Ireland, but it's more like karateing over there.
Yeah, it's different.
It's different. So he's like a world karate kid champion over there in Ireland, and we know his style. He's gonna have a lot of flashy kicks. He's gonna do the jumping spin. It's gonna make for an exciting fight. You have a boxer who is versed in just fighting, so it's not like I'm just a boxer. I'm like I have a hybrid style. So you have this guy who specializes in striking versus another guy who specializes in striking. Man,
you're gonna be getting that 50 G's.
I have to because the little asshole stuff. He put a bounty on my head. He was like, "Oh, Dana don't like him, so I gotta go out there and get this 50 G bounty." I was like, "All right,
let's do it."
Yeah, so I think we're both gonna be going for the knockout, and I just feel I have the superior skill set to his, and that knockout is going to come my way as well as that 50 G's.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait for that one. My last question for you is, after this fight, are we going to see a more active Michael Jackson? Or Mike Jackson, I'm sorry.
I don't know. Look, I'm really doing this for shits and giggles, man. I'm doing it because I love to fight. I don't have to fight. I'm just doing it because I enjoy doing it. If it has to make the fight has to make sense. Like I'm not here. Like even they offered me the fight, the previous one, and I ended up getting hurt during training, so I had to bail out of that one. But even that fight was a solid fight for me. I thought it was going to be fun as well.
Sure.
So they're offering me, quality matchups, and look, I'm here to make money too. We're here to put money on the table. So you don't want to put me in there with like this guy who's just a grappler who's going to just want to take me down the whole time because now I have to train on stopping this dude's takedown as well as punch him. We don't want to see that. We want to see the face punch. We want to see the violence. So I think that we're going to have some, more of these kinds of fights. And then in the meantime, I'm glad you asked what we're going to be doing for Shits and Giggles. I started a new lifestyle brand called Shits and Giggles.
I did see that, yes.
Yeah. So it's good. I just put the Instagram up yesterday. It's Shits and Giggles brand. And we got some fun and cool stuff coming out and in the works.
Perfect. Did you want to give a shout out to anyone before I let you go?
Yeah, man. Look, of course, myself. You can find me at MikeTheTruth.com and all my social medias at TheTruthJackson. Just got signed to First Round Management. Shout out to my guy Lou. My team at Main Street. My team at Henzo Gracie, Houston, and just everywhere, man. People that support me, all the people that show me love and support, even the bums, bigots, and haters, y'all can get this love too.
Awesome. I really appreciate having you on today, and I hope you kick ass whenever the fight gets announced.
Appreciate it, my guy. Thank you for having me.